Om Shruti Smriti Purananam Ishvaro Vyomavadvyaptadehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. The nature of the I is shown in the following verses as not subject to any kind of destruction. No destruction is possible for which that alone is called Aham, I. Everything else is what? Not I. The not I is Anitya. Not I is the one that is what? Subject to destruction. Anatma is subject to destruction. Anatma is not forever. Anatma is subject to birth. Anatma is subject to death. Anatma is subject to modification. This if we know, then we know that I, Atma, is not subject to any of these kinds of changes, making I changeless, making I totally changeless. The changeless I is what I want to be. The changeless is what I want. Nirvikara, without any changes I want to be. That's why in life also people resist change so much. Oh, I don't like this. Why? Because it's a change. I don't want change. So, our desire to be changeless is projected onto the circumstances or the situations, everyday situations, which are what? Atma or Anatma? Anatma. And what is it that we know about Atma? It's constantly changing. Change is the only constant where Anatma goes, but then one is in a quandary because one tries to find stability by resisting change. Trying to find stability by resisting change in my surroundings is like eating the food, taking the handful of food and eating it like that. When I can straight away eat the food from the plate. Straight away I can have the food, but what do? I take it and make a nice ball of the rice and dal and then bring it all the way here and eat. That is what happens when I try to change the surroundings. To change the surroundings into becoming changeless. When I try to stop the surroundings from changing, when I try to make the surroundings very, very stable, because otherwise I want to be stable. So my desire for stability, my desire for no change is powerfully projected onto the not I in the Anatma surroundings and Anatma bodies, other people. Even my own body, I don't want it to change. Everybody wants to look like when they were 20. How is that possible? This is just a completely impossible feat. How is this possible? Not possible at all. But still that doesn't stop one from trying. So all kinds of berries are eaten. What is that? Is goji berry. Have been growing in Himalayas for 5,000 years. Nobody even thought of it. Suddenly one day, antioxidant, goji berry, goji berry, goji berry. Now it's only go berry, it's gone. Everybody has just eaten it up. And it's gotten, exported to all other countries also, because they found out that, it has longevity, it has some other, it has anti-aging properties. And then you find goji berry in everything, goji berry wrinkle cream. Goji berry, what else? Goji berry moisturizer, goji berry this, goji berry that. And then there is one more berry, very prachanda antioxidant, where supposedly, it makes the skin look like when you were 4 years old. And what is that? Baby skin. What is that? Acai berry. This acai berry, again, and it's just over-harvested, too much. And the people in the South American countries are waiting to heave a sigh of relief so that they will get the berries for themselves. But the berries are not there for themselves. It is for everybody has it's just overkill. Yes, goji berries are used in Ayurvedic preparation also. They will say put 4 or 6 goji berries. It's not that you have to eat a whole harvest of them. But this is the penchant for making the impermanent into permanent. Much easier it is to know that I am already permanent. Let anything happen to the body, because as long as I have a truck with the body, as long as I identify as the body, or the mind, or the senses, or a combination thereof, then it is just misery galore. So unending misery. What else is there? Nothing else but unending misery. And so this vision of Vedanta, which is now going to come, this vision is going to set this right. And Arjuna is also under the clutch of this kind of a belief. Oh, my people, they will die. Whether this side also, that side also, both are my people. And they are going to die, because this is a terrible war. We are all going to die. Oh no, oh no, oh no. How can I, even if I survive, how can I enjoy? He is also doing the same thing. He is also trying to fix the situation, the circumstances, so that it will be just as it was. Duryodhana will be just as before, bashing everybody up. And Dushasana will be just as before, up to all his antics. And then Arjuna will be just as before, living uncomfortably with all the terrorists. And in fact, aiding and enabling them. This is the situation. So, therefore, what happens is, if we don't allow ourselves the privilege of assimilating the vision of Vedanta, then we settle for less than everything. We settle for the status quo and very upsettingly try to make the status quo acceptable. We become enablers of all kinds of wrong things in our own lives and go on a very difficult and totally wrong path. This is why the vision is now going to be, we are already in the middle of it, the vision is going to be unfolded, and then it is the vision of non-duality, and then that is what is we are going to study here. So let us chant a few verses here. We'll go from 22, correct, yes. Veda vinashinam nityam Yahenamajamavyayam Katham sa purushah partha Kam ghatayati hantikam Vasamsi jirnani yatha vihaya Navani grinhati naroparani Tatha sharirani vihaya jirnani Anyani samyati navani dehi Nainan chindanti shastrani Nainan dahati pavakaha Najainam kledayantyaapaha Nashoshayati marutaha Achedyo yamadahyoyam Akledyo shoshya evacha Nityas sarvagatasthānuhu Achaloyam sanatanaha Avyaktoyam achintyoyam Avikaryoyam uchyate Tasmadevam viditvainam Nanushochitum arhasi. Very important verses. So Veda avinashinam nityam. So this is not subject to destruction. The Atma that I am talking about, O Arjuna, is not at all subject to any kind of change. What to talk of destruction? You can't even change it. It is how it is. It is neither born, not subject to change means avikari, avinashi. Avinashi tu tadvidhi. So that is not subject to change. And what is it that is not subject to change? You. Yeah, but you keep saying you. What is this you? You means awareness. That's why I said in the last class that when you have the Sakshi Bhava, when you are able to occupy Sakshita, the status of being the observer, I said it is very, very close to self-knowledge. Because the status of being an observer means what? I am aware of my surroundings. I am aware of my body. I am aware of my mind. I am aware of everything. And I am not a participant, I am an observer. And then what is knowledge? I am awareness itself. Because Sakshi is also a relative construct. Sakshi is a relative to Sakshya, that which is to be observed. Awareness is there all the time, even when there is nothing to observe, awareness is there. Because the Sakshi and Sakshya, the observer, the status of observer, which is myself, the Ahankara, which has gone into the mode of the observer, and the Sakshya, the observed, are coming from one source alone, which is what? Neither Sakshi nor Sakshya, which is in fact the wellspring of awareness itself. Awareness is all knowledge, Chit. And what is the source of Chit? Sat. What is the source of Sat? Itself, Chit. So this Sat Chit is this awareness that is existent. How do I know it's existent? Because I am aware. So that means it must be existent. It is existent, it is sentient, and it is I. Because when I am an observer, I can observe this, that, I can observe myself, my body, I can observe the surroundings, and then what else? I can observe other people, other bodies, I can observe the Jagat, and then As a result, what? Now there are a slight duality is there in the Sakshi Bhava. What is that slight duality? I, the Ahankara, has now occupied what seat? Observer status, observer seat, and then from there what is there? Observed. Now, the next stage to see, the logical next step from this is as follows. What is the truth of the observer? What is the truth of the one who is aware of everything? And what is the truth of the things that I am aware of, the objects? So what is the truth of the status of the subject and the object? Both spring up as though. Both are as though temporary statuses, as though morphed in awareness. Awareness never undergoes any change. So that's why we say as though. Awareness does not undergo any change to either become the observer or become the observed. It is always nirantara, constant. It is always constant, never subject to change. But then how do you say this same awareness, how can the same awareness be the observed and be the observer? Because it's neither the observed nor the observer. It simply shines and lends its light, its presence, and satta spurti pradanena. It lends its satta, existence, it lends its sentiency for this to become evident to me. And what is it that I need to understand? I need to understand I am neither the awareful one nor am I the object of awareness. That means what? This awareness is limitless. This is what we mean by limitless. Here is what we mean by non-duality. Non-duality means what? That the subject-object difference is what? Mithya. Is dependent on awareness. Awareness is independent of both subject and object. The status of subject is again temporary, subject to this, what is that called? Sakshi, observer. And when there is nothing to observe, then what is the use of saying subject-object? In sleep, is there subject-object? No. All that reigns is total awareness. In sleep, all that is there is awareness. This awareness alone I call consciousness. Awareness with regard to this body-mind-sense complex, because it is easy to understand. Awareness, this awareness alone is consciousness. That alone, this consciousness is what I call Brahman. That consciousness has no differentiation, has no separation, has no attributes. No attributes, no dharmas. Dharma means various kinds of attributes. No color, no shine, no size, no weight, no height, no form, no hands, no legs, no scent, is not an object of sight, is not an object of hearing. Nothing. This is the Atma, totally free of all descriptions and all forms. It defies all forms because it doesn't have a form. Yet, no form is separate from the I, from the Atma, from awareness. So how is that possible? All forms are nothing but Atma. Atma is no form in particular. Just go back to pot and clay. Every pot is what? Clay. Every pot is clay, but clay is not any particular form or name in particular. Specifically speaking. Same thing with gold. So in fact, it's better with gold because then you can appreciate this better. 1 million ornaments and just one gold, which is not anything in particular. So for this awareness to sustain the entire universe of names and forms, including my, very important this is, including my internal universe. Oh, I have an internal universe? You bet. What is my internal universe? There also, I told you, you have big mansions. In the form of what? Raga, Dvesha, there are mansions. There are people inside the head. Oh, what do they look like? They look exactly like the people outside. Except there are some more perceptions, that's all. They are in the form of perception, subjective perceptions. People loaded in the head in the form of subjective perceptions. So you have an internal universe of subjective perceptions. So there is a rich internal universe, and then there is a rich external universe. In fact, that external universe is drawn to make up my internal universe. What is the name for the internal universe? Pratibhasikam. Remember, we had talked about this verse, this name, this term. Pratibhasikam, a subjective universe. That subjective universe and the objective universe are both included in awareness. And what is awareness? Is it subjective or objective? Neither. It simply is. It's like the sun which shines. The sun continues to shine. It shines equally. It just reveals. That's its job, is to just reveal. So if under one tree people are playing cards, gambling addictively, and fighting with each other, pulling out knives, threatening to kill each other. Why? Because some wrong calculations and they are very upset with each other. And nearby, underneath another tree, people are studying Bhagavad Gita. They are studying Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita study is happening under another tree. Where will the sun shine more? Equally. It just reveals this is what is happening. The sun doesn't say. The sun is not in the place for making decisions. Oh, these bad boys. I am not going to shine the light on their terrible deeds. Let me withdraw and make everything dark. Like sometimes in plays you have, some area they make it dark. And then on the hero, the spotlight comes. So then, on these heroes who are studying Bhagavad Gita, I will put all my shine there. No. It simply reveals. So too the light of awareness, light within quotes, don't imagine there is some light, okay? So too this awareness, and what is this awareness? This awareness is just a revealer. Why? It is Sat Chit. It is existent and it reveals. Even though, mind you, the word to reveal, the verb to reveal is technically speaking a verb, is it not? To reveal. Is that a verb? Say yes, so we can move on, yes. So even though the reveal is a verb, but it is not an action. How do you mean it's not an action? All verbs are action. Kriya padam. Kriya padam means the first word in Kriya padam is what? Kriya, action. No. When you say sun shines, is it an action or is it its own nature? Nature. Same thing here. So awareness, the job of awareness is to reveal. Meaning it's revelatory in nature. It doesn't have to do anything to reveal. There is no doing. Simply it is. That's why it is not opposed to anything it reveals. Like the sun is not opposed to revealing a band of robbers who are getting ready to rob a bank. It's not opposed to that. Similarly, the Atma, which reveals everything, is also not opposed to one's self-ignorance. It reveals the self-ignorance also. Very interesting. Atma is not opposed to anything. Otherwise, if Atma had some preferences, if Atma had Raga and Dvesha, it would say nobody wants me. Everybody only wants to see movies. Nobody pursues me. No, even after studying Vedanta, nobody understands me. It would have several complexes. But there is no partiality there. It just is this shining being It's a conscious, shining being that brings to light everything that is there to be brought to light. In fact, whatever it brings to light is non-separate from itself. That's another thing we have to understand. Whatever it brings to light is non-separate from itself. Because from the standpoint of the Satchidananda Atma, this awareness that reveals everything, there is nothing else. There is no everything to reveal. Oh, what about my internal universe? Swallowed. What about the external universe? Swallowed. What about the world? Swallowed. What do you mean swallowed? I'm still sitting here. You are still sitting here. I'm still sitting here. How do you say swallowed? What do you mean swallowed? As though swallowed. Yes, vyavahara is there. Vyavahara means the subject-object interaction is there. Subject-object differences are there. But they are temporary, they are finite, and ultimately they do not matter. The standpoint from which we are speaking, all that there is consciousness, awareness, which is you. That's all there is. Everything else is a construct. And to account for this everything else, why do we need to account? Because we take that to be the reality. When you take the ornaments to be the reality, and when the ornaments take themselves to be the reality, then what happens? Problems ensue. Because you take the ornament to be the reality, we have to say everything is gold. If you did not take the ornaments to be the reality, then this teaching is not necessary. In fact, no teaching is necessary. Teaching itself is necessary because the so-called everything else, that gains more of a reality. In the head. Why? Here we have to say due to ajnanam. That's why the ajnanam dismissed. The knowledge is very, very clear. But until this knowledge takes place, we come up with what is called 3 orders of reality. One is called Paramarthikam. Paramarthika Satta. Satta, existence, reality. Paramarthika means where it alone is, nothing else is. Awareness alone is. Because that awareness which transcends the subject-object difference. Why? Subject is within awareness. What we call object is also within awareness. Without awareness, neither subject nor object can exist. But awareness can exist without being either subject or object. This awareness we call Paramarthika. It transcends the differences of all kinds. Paramarthika Satta. Paramarthika Satta means the absolute reality, ultimate absolute reality where there cannot be any distinctions. Why can't there be any distinctions? Because it alone is, and it alone happens to be you. That's why there are no subject-object distinctions. Nothing is there. It simply is, it shines, and it is limitless. That's all there is. This is called Paramarthika Satta. But we live in a manifest universe which we cannot deny. Why? Because it pinches. Each time you turn around, it pinches. And this world of names and forms is only good for one thing. What is it good for? Transactions. Give, take, and complain. It's only good for 3 things. Give, take, and then complain. And then that is called Vyavaharika Satta. Vyavaharika Satta means the interim reality, the empirical reality, I can touch it, I can objectify it, I can conduct transactions and business with it. You cannot conduct business with Atma. Can you? No. Why? You are Atma. No business conducting is possible. You can't buy Atma anything, you can't sell Atma anything, you cannot receive something from Atma, you cannot give something to the Atma. It simply is, it is you. And it cannot be objectifiable, it cannot be made into an object. And so what? So therefore, therefore all the transactions happen in this middle level of reality. Second level of reality known as Vyavaharika Satta. Vyavaharikam Jagat. This is where the Jagat comes. And all this is happening where? Within the Paramarthika alone. The Paramarthika alone is as though projecting itself as Vyavaharika. The whole Jagat is nothing but Brahman. Consciousness, awareness. But here, Brahman, and the Jagat as Brahman gives it transactability. I can receive, I can appreciate, I can take, I can give, I can buy, I can sell. I can go here, go there. I can say, oh no, I am ignorant. Oh no, what shall I do? Oh yes, let me go to Gurukula. Let me seek a teacher. Let me get rid of the ignorance. All this happens eating, drinking, talking, pursuing knowledge, getting rid of ignorance. All is happening in which satta? Vyavaharika satta. Not Vyavaharika satta. Vyavaharika satta. Vyavaharika satta. In this interim and empirical reality. So the first one is called absolute reality. The second one is what called? Interim or empirical reality. And what is the connection between the empirical and the absolute? The empirical is an as though projection of the absolute. That is the connection. There is no connection actually. It's all just absolute, Paramarthika Satta alone. Then the Vyavahara comes where? Vyavahara comes, Vyavahara goes. The Vyavaharika Satta is nothing but an as though projection of the Paramarthika Satta that I take to be real. And then my understanding of the Vyavaharika Satta is called Pratibhasika Satta, my personal projection, my personal reality. So how many do we have now? Three. Paramarthika Satta, the absolute reality where there is no subject-object difference, no complaints, no limits, no form, no name, nothing. No activity, no results of action, no karma phala. That is the nature of the I, the Atma. Then we have the middle level of reality known as Vyavaharika Satta. And what is that? That is nothing other than a projection, an as though projection of this very awareness which has no name, no form, no divisions. An as though projection of that which lends itself to transaction. This is the empirical reality. The empirical order of reality is what? Is nothing but the absolute and objective, the absolute reality as though projected in the form of the Jagat. Then finally, my impressions of this empirical reality constitute my personal internal landscape called Pratibhasika. my own views. And the raw material for that we are seeing extensively in the Amrita Bindu Upanishad. What is the raw material? Raga, Dvesha, Samskara. What is Samskara? Samskar or the other, okay? Yeah, from the past. Samskara. And so this Raga, Dvesha, all of them, they just filter my vision. They filter my vision so that I'm always looking at the world with the glasses of Raga, Dvesha on. Even if I try not to, it happens to be the case. Unless I make an attempt to study Vedanta, this never goes. The Raga, Dvesha glasses never fall from the face. Even if I fall face forward, the Raga, Dvesha glasses never fall from the face. They are always there, and then they distort my vision of this reality. Which reality? The objective reality, the empirical reality. The empirical reality means the world of Jagat and other jivas. The world, a divided world, a so-called divided world into Ishvara, Jiva and Jagat. The divisions themselves are there because I have too much of Ragadvesha, too much of some kind of alienation. My sense of alienation from the Jagat, from other jivas, etc., makes for a very lonely life. And this lonely life I cannot handle, and in order to get away from the lonely life, what do? Make friends, make connections, and build alliances. This is what Arjuna did. That's why he was ready to get along even with this distasteful Duryodhana. Even this Duryodhana who is bashing him up, doesn't matter, let him bash him up, at least he is there. It makes for a very strange series of decisions. We compromise. One makes all kinds of compromises, enters into very strange dysfunctional relationships just to be acceptable. What is this? Terrible, 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 terrible. And so therefore this Pratibhasika, so now we have these three orders of reality, and so let us look at them a little more. So the absolute is absolutely without problems, and what about the middle one? Empirical reality. Yeah, Vyavaharika Satta, yes. You know their name, you know that name, and I'm happy you know that name. So, Vyavaharika Satta, so the Paramarthika is absolutely free of problems. What about Vyavaharika? All complaints? No. That too is free of all problems. Why? Because it is nothing but consciousness. If I tell you consciousness is free of all problems and the world is nothing but consciousness, is the world free of problems or not? Yes. World also has to be free of problems. If I say awareness is free of problems, and what is the world? Nothing but awareness. It's a projection, and as though projection of awareness. Therefore, is the world free of problems or not? Yes. I'm going to force you to say yes. Even if you don't want to. Because that is a fact. That's a reality. Oh, but I don't like my roommate. That is Pratibhasika. That is Pratibhasikam. That is neither Vyavaharika nor Paramarthika. Yeah. So now we come to the area of complaints, problems, alienations, compromises, enablings and dysfunctional relationships. In other words, samsara, yippee. Where is samsara? Pratibhasika. And where is Pratibhasika? Is it with me or is it with somebody else? It is mine alone. my own distorted perceptions, misperceptions, etc., etc., etc. is what? Pratibhasika. This pratibhasika, my own distorted perception, is the cause of sorrow, and it is due to Atma Ajnanam with a twist. Atma Ajnanam, if you want a recipe for pratibhasika, how to prepare a pot of pratibhasika, okay, this is the recipe. Add $1, meaning 1 measure of Vyavaharikam Jagat. Vyavaharika Satta, add 1 measure. And then add 10 measures of Raga Dvesha. Mix well. Alright? Simmer, meaning keep it in the heart. Simmer on a low flame. Enjoy. How to enjoy misery? That's the thing. You can't, this is the recipe for pratibhasika. It is nothing but Vyavaharika Satta mixed in with Ragadvesha and all kinds of wrong understandings, personal projections, and then simmered. Simmered means you have to wait till that resentment builds up. That's what gives it the taste. Okay? So this is what is called pratibhasika. So now I am in a soup, literally. So what to do? How to come out of this pratibhasika? Let's just go straight to what? Paramarthika. Forget about all this. This is called dissociation. This is called denial, because it's not possible. It's not possible to go straight to boom, I'll take a SpaceX rocket. Elon Musk is my friend. I'll take a SpaceX rocket all the way and bypass what? Vyavaharikam. Vyavahariki Satta, I can bypass and go straight to what? Paramarthika. Is it possible? No. Not possible. Even if I try to do that, what will happen? I will be just chanting these words. Achedyoyam adahyoyam avyakto shoshya evacha nitya sarvagatasthanu. It will not ring of reality. That this Atma is avinashi, that I am not subject to destruction, will not ring of reality. I will just memorize the Bhagavad Gita, a very noble task, please do that, no problem, please do that. I'm not saying don't memorize. See, teachers have to be very, very careful when they talk, because you don't know how it is received. One time somebody came to see me and said, I'm having lot of trouble meditating. So I said, start with 1 minute. Start with 1 minute, I said. I didn't say end up in 1 minute. I said, start with 1 minute meditation, whose acronym is OMM, Om. See how auspicious. You start with 1 minute, when you master 1 minute, go 1 more minute, like that. And then that person went away very happy, so I thought. Then suddenly, some few days went by, and then some students came to me and said, we need to talk to you immediately, we are very disturbed. I said, why? What happened? Yeah, please talk, what do you want to say? We are very disappointed that you are telling everybody only meditate for 1 minute. So therefore, we have to be very careful. So what did I say just now? You cannot bypass. Why? Because all the masala happens to be where? In the Vyavaharika. The problems are also where? The problems are not with Vyavaharika. The problems are in how I perceive Vyavaharika. So therefore, the Pratibhasika is the Pratibhasika reality, means my own personal reality has to be resolved first in the Vyavaharika reality. How to do that? How to do that is very, very easy, because each time I have to be vigilant to correct the perception. Correcting the perception happens only when I know I am wrong. Most people say I am right. And for them, this knowledge is not. This knowledge is not for people who refuse to concede that they might be wrong. This knowledge is for people who say my perception may be right, may not be right. First of all, how to do this? First of all, understand that whatever you think, whatever you say, whatever you express is what? Subjective perception. Take that for granted. That I am filled with subjective perception, and I am lucky if one of those perceptions is objective. So, everything is my own opinion, my own perceptions with that recipe which I just outlined. Simmered objective reality with a lot of subjective ragadveshas, mixed well. Chilled and served. And then, so, first thing is I acknowledge that my perceptions may not, need not be objective. Even when I feel I am right, I have to be ready to be proved wrong. First thing, this itself opens up a whole arena of corrections. It's amazing. And second thing, it's not enough to acknowledge that my person's perceptions may be or are subjective. I make it a point to make it a social fact. Even when talking amongst other people, I can say, you know what, I may be wrong, I may be right. But I think there is a shady looking character there. That makes it very, very interesting, because now I am already in the realm of Vyavaharika. When I know that my observations are necessarily tainted by my ragadveshas, then I am careful in how I express myself. I am careful in how I air my perceptions with others. Oh, that better to keep the perceptions with myself. Yes, agreed. Because if everything is subjective, then why to bother talking about it all the time? Better to keep the perceptions to myself, sift through them, see which is worth talking about and which is letting it just resolve. And an honest assessment will make will make me understand that most of the perceptions are not worth sharing at all. And the few that are worth sharing, you share, it's okay. This is the second thing to do. The third thing to do, to come from the living in the doldrums of pratibhasika to squarely in the objective reality of the empirical type, is to take some time before speaking and acting, even at the cost of people thinking that you were a snail in your last life and the samskaras are still persisting. Doesn't matter if you're slow. There is a pressure what is that called? To bridge the gap. Nobody likes silences. We find silences uncomfortable. We find inaction, non-action, uncomfortable. So, this is the third thing. Just give some time. Give yourself some time to respond. This is how reactions turn into response when there is a little bit of a buffer of a time gap there. You're not constantly reacting. Then the next point, very, very important, is that this pratibhasika satta, this personal reality, is made up of what? Ragadveshas. So I have to work on my ragadveshas. I can't work on every ragadveshas. Few chronic and very difficult ones I start off with. core issues, they are called. Core issues stemming from childhood. That is what I have to work on. Abandonment, feeling of abandonment, feeling of neglect, feeling that nobody listens to me, feeling that nobody understands me. These are all general things. But then people feel specifically targeted in certain ways. Those kinds of feelings I have to work on. As I am working on them, I also acknowledge it will take time. So in the meantime, I learn to suspend judgment. Even as I am working on the raga dveshas, I learn to suspend them, suspend the raga dveshas aside from being partners in the interactions with others. How do I do that? We already saw in the last class. Keeping the mind stable, keeping the mind free of asakti, letting the raga dveshas just be there without activating the raga dveshas, without potentizing them. I just say, interesting, yes, they are coming in the way, yes. And then if they come in the way strongly, then I say, okay, little more work needs to be done. I have had a relapse, it's okay. Part of life is relapse. Many lapses are there. It's okay. I learn to forgive myself, because that's also an important landmark in qualifying for this knowledge. Freedom from, relatively free from guilt, relatively free from hurt I have to be, in order to understand myself absolutely as abhokta, akarta. I am not a karta, I am not a bhokta. To understand, I have to be relatively free of guilt and hurt. So, I have to learn to forgive myself, I have to learn to suspend the raga dveshas, and I have to learn to lighten this burden. And this burden, the lightening of this cannot happen until and unless Ishvara is brought into one's life. Without Bhagavan's help, the Pratibhasika will, the personal son of Pratibhasika will not set forever. Because this is a huge task. Otherwise, I will be like that Greek character called Prometheus. What did he have to do? He had to roll a boulder all night long above a mountain. Whole night it took him, little by little, little by little. Then what would happen when it reached the top? Roll down in 8 minutes. And the next 8 hours he would spend rolling it up. He was the recipient of some kind of a shapa, some kind of a curse, that he kept rolling the things. So without seeking the help of the person, of this being who is in charge of the Jagat. Did you make the Jagat? Say no, so we can move on. What is this? No. Did you make the Jagat? No. Did you make your own body? No. Even your mother, father did not make your own body. Somehow the baby is born. That's all you know. You go to your mom and say, Mom, did you make my brain? What will she say? She'll say, I wish I had made your brain so that you would stop asking these silly questions. I wish I knew how to make the brain. Don't know how to make the brain. Neither the mother nor the father knows how to make brain, how to make hands, how to make pancreas, how to make endocrine glands. In general, nothing. Nothing we know. Still the baby is born, intact, 10 toes, 10 fingers, very perfect, beautiful, miracle. How is this possible? I didn't make the Jagat. Did you make the laws of the Jagat? No. I am subject to the laws of the Jagat. I did not make the Jagat, I am subject to the laws of the Jagat. And being subject to the laws of the Jagat, what option do I have other than to follow the laws? No option. No, I can protest the laws. Okay, protest winter now, okay? Come in a breezy sun dress tomorrow, yeah. Protest winter. Who will suffer as a result of protesting winter? The person who protests will suffer. This is what it is. You have no option other than to follow the laws of the universe. Because if those laws aren't followed, what happens? It affects me. It is expedient to follow these laws. It is in my benefit to follow these laws. I cannot be a lifetime rebel, life after life rebel. This is all pratibhasika. If I want to come back to the vyavaharikam jagat, that means I have to acknowledge the jagat. Acknowledging the existence of the jagat is acknowledging the existence of the laws of the universe. Acknowledging the existence of the laws of the universe means acknowledging the author of the laws of the universe, who is Ishvara and who is non-separate from the laws of the jagat. We don't say Bhagavan just made the guy in the sky making laws. No. The laws are not a mandate of Bhagavan. They are the very manifestation of Bhagavan. And so I have to acknowledge the presence of the one who is associated with being the architect of this jagat. So many laws. It is so beautiful, so brilliant. Look at the laws. Wherever there are eyes, they see. Then you look at all the vegetarian animals, bright-eyed, looking straight at you, feeding on the grass and everything. Then you look at the ways the non-vegetarian animals' eyes are, shifty. Why? Because they themselves are predators. They know that they have some dada predators. They know that they will be predated. So they have to be careful. All this you can see in the National Geographic videos of the Serengeti forest. Fantastic it is. Then all these zebras, these cattle, and these another very interesting things called wildebeests. These wildebeests are there. They look like bison, and the bisons are also there. Some kind of wild donkeys, they are also there. And the Serengeti forest is not, don't think it is full of trees. It's just full of grasses, low-lying grasses. And all of them are going. They are going because they go the route of the grass, where the grasses grow, and they go the route of the rain. They follow the rain because they need the grass to eat. They need the trees, the leaves, the giraffes. It's just beautiful to see them moving. And behind them, hyenas. Hyenas. And then what else? These lions, tigers, jackals, all of them. Why? Because lunch is going, dinner is going. Everybody on the food chain is following the lunch and the dinner. And then elephants, you see the elephants too. All of them, the elephants majestically going, all of them going. And the non-vegetarian animals, you see every minute looking back, looking back, looking back. And then there are gazelles and deers, antelopes of all kinds, with spots, without spots, with stripes, with all different wonderful designs, very, very lovely. Sometimes the inevitable happens. What is the inevitable? The food chain. The antelope eats the grass. And what happens to the antelope? Hyena or tiger, lion, swaha to the antelope. But sometimes there is a surprise in store because the laws are not always the same. Laws are there, but there is a twist. And what is the twist here? The tiger is coming through the grasses. And it's an impatient tiger. It decides to feast on this young antelope. The antelope looks but cannot decide. It's too young. It doesn't know how to forage. Mother also is somewhere nearby, but the mother it's big enough to be a little far away from the mom. It's just looking. Something is not quite right. Mom, where are you? I don't see you. Maybe I'm supposed to be a big girl now. I can do this on my own. Perhaps it's just some noise in the air. I'm not going to look at this. I'm just going to graze. Grass is very tasty. I'm going to have wheat grass juice. And wheat grass juice smoothie I'm enjoying. I'm not going to pay attention to these noises. So saying, it continues to do this, and the tiger is coming right there. It looks right at it. But the deer do not have proper vision. They cannot see the colors in the grass. Their eyes are not made for that. So it continues to graze. The tiger is approaching dangerously close. Bhagavan intervenes. How? In the form of howler monkeys. Howler monkeys are sitting on the trees above, and howler monkeys have 20/20 vision, no problem at all. They see the tiger, they start to howl, which the deer now takes as a warning. They are not howling for the deer. They are howling because they don't like the tiger either. They are also afraid of the tiger. That's why they are howling. But they need not be afraid because they can jump in a minute and go. But as they are jumping, they are howling. Their howling is what? Sending SMS to all the monkey jagat. Be careful, this terrible fellow is there. And meanwhile the tiger is just coming slowly. It has gotten into a crouching position. It's ready to spring. And then they start howling. And the deer takes off this side, the monkeys howl and take off that side. The poor hungry tiger, you feel bad for it. I thought it will also run away somewhere. But poor thing, I think it was old and tired, it just sits down like that. It's in shock. Lunch gone. Here I thought was a sure lunch of an adolescent gazelle. Gone, alas. See, Bhagavan in myriad forms. Wherever there are eyes, they will see. That's the law. And even when there is an occlusion, because even the non-sight of the deer is within the order. That is how the law is. The law is big enough to hold the opposites within. Just so amazing. It's just really fascinating. It's just a wonder. The whole thing is a wonder. And then you see the eyes of a crocodile. It looks dead. Yeah. Half the blessed animal is teeth. The other half is tail. Okay? Yeah. And sometimes the mouth is wide open, the eyes look dead. And then what? This person said, let me take a small selfie with Selfie resolves into self. That's what will happen. It just is waiting for the prey to come near and then finished, gone. The lazy, glazed eyes of the alligator, the crocodile. The puppy dog eyes of a dog, so faithful, unconditionally loving. All this is just within the master law, a mega law that says, wherever there is eye, it will see. But what if somebody cannot see? That non-sight and troubles in the eye is also part of the order. And it intersects with another order, usually the karmic order. The karmic order belonging to that person who cannot see or who cannot see clearly. So all other things, macular degeneration and glaucoma and any other disturbances, cataract, it's all part of the law. This is called the anatomical order. It's a marvel. The anatomical order. The physiological order, how the planets are not colliding and commit suicide into each other. The astronomical order. And another order which is very close to us, the psychological order. There too is the presence of Bhagavan, which is easy to miss when one gets completely embroiled in one's own feelings. In fact, there is no such thing as your feeling. There is no feeling, your feeling is not there. Feeling is there, yes. Feeling is what? Ishvara Srishti. You didn't make the feelings. It's not Jiva Srishti, it is Ishvara Srishti. So in every feeling, Bhagavan is there. How? Because it's a law, it's not a feeling, it's a law. That's how they're able to make these wonderful studies, psychological studies. Adult children of alcoholic parents, this is how they might behave. These are the issues of trust they might have. This is how they might conduct themselves. This is the trauma background. Then the same way we can say, as children, someone who has faced a lot of abuse, this is how they will be when they grow up. It's a law. These are the issues. And so therefore what? It no longer becomes my neglect. It no longer becomes my feeling. It no longer becomes my trauma. It's the presence of Ishvara there which makes it a law. A law means it is infallible. In that infallible, I see Bhagavan. Just so beautiful. Therefore, another point to go from the Pratibhasika to Vyavaharika. As I make my way backwards, it's important to not take things personally. Best and the quickest remedy to get out of Pratibhasika, stop taking things personally. Oh, I am targeted. Says who? Who says you are targeted? No, that person is looking at me funny. They have a cold, okay? They are trying to sneeze. Yeah, and you just came in the way, that's all. It's going around, yeah. No, this person is behaving in a very strange way towards me. What are they doing? Whenever I come, they are just, they are not talking to me. Go ask them, why are you not talking to me? Go ask them. What will they say? They will just say, I didn't even see you. Yeah. That's what happened to this lady who came and complained to me. I saw my friend after such a long time in the shopping center and she did not even say hello. How long have you known her? I have known her for many years, many decades. I just call her, find out. No, I am not going to call her. Why? She must hate me. And therefore, I am hating her back. Because I don't want to talk to somebody like this. Give her a chance. No. I'm just very sad, very mad, very upset. I said, okay, you dial her number, I will talk to her. Put her on speaker. With great difficulty she did it. And that person did not seem upset or angry at all. She didn't even know she was on speaker phone. She greeted her friend with so much love and just so much effusive greeting. Hello, how are you? I've not seen you in such a long time. Where have you been? When are we getting together? This is what she was saying. And this woman was a little bit mollified. Okay, there must be some problem because she is acting so loving and here I am planning to break all ties with her. But she was not fully mollified. She said, why you did this? I saw you in the shopping center and you didn't even say hello. And the woman was really puzzled. She said, when? Yesterday. Oh. And the woman started to laugh. I left my glasses at home. It was with great difficulty I finished even the shopping in the grocery store. I was telling myself, God only knows what I am buying. So, this is all pratibhasika, taking too much of the time personally. Lot more is here waiting to be revealed about the nature of this I, which is Ishvara, which is going to be talked about, and then we will do that tomorrow. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om.